The Hollow Man. The village of Ravenwood had always been quiet, almost forgotten by time. But one moonless night, the peace was shattered. An old farmer named Elias was tending to his lantern when he heard a whisper, a chilling, hollow sound. He turned to see a tall, shadowy figure standing at the edge of his field. It had no face, just a dark void where its features should be. The lantern's light dimmed as Elias's scream echoed into the night, but by morning, he was gone. Only the lantern remained, flickering faintly in the damp grass. The village meeting. The villagers gathered at the church the next morning, their voices hushed and fearful. It wasn't the first disappearance. Others had vanished without a trace. Martha, the baker's wife, clutched her shawl tightly. "It's the Hollow Man," she whispered. "My grandmother used to warn us. When the shadow comes, it takes more than just the body." James, the skeptical blacksmith, scoffed. "Superstitions won't save us. We need to search for real answers." But his bravado didn't fool anyone. Fear was etched in his face. The warning. That evening, a stranger arrived in the village. Clad in a long coat and hat, his name was Dr. Caldwell, a scholar of the arcane. "You're dealing with a phenomenon older than this village," he warned. "The Hollow Man is not just a legend. It feeds on despair, and each victim strengthens it." "How do we stop it?" Martha asked, her voice trembling. Dr. Caldwell hesitated. "It can only be confronted where it's strongest. But beware. Those who look into its void often don't return the same." The search that night, Caldwell, James, and a few brave villagers ventured into the woods where Elias had vanished. The air grew colder with every step, and an unnatural silence enveloped them. Caldwell held a flickering lantern, its flame trembling like their courage. Suddenly, the ground beneath them seemed to breathe. Shadows stretched unnaturally long, and whispers surrounded them, though no one spoke. James froze. "There!" he pointed. The Hollow Man stood among the trees, its featureless face absorbing all light. It didn't move, but the whispers grew louder, piercing their minds. The confrontation. Caldwell stepped forward, chanting words in an ancient language. The lantern's flame flared, revealing symbols etched into the ground. The Hollow Man began to waver, its form rippling like smoke. But then it lunged. James screamed as the void touched him, and in that moment, he saw his deepest fears and regrets. Caldwell shouted, "Do not look into the void!" But it was too late. James collapsed, lifeless, his eyes wide and hollow. The Hollow Man turned to Caldwell, but the scholar's chant grew louder. Light burst from the lantern, forcing the shadow back. It let out a deafening, inhuman scream before dissipating into the night. The whispers ceased, and the forest fell silent. The aftermath. The villagers found Caldwell kneeling over James's body. His face was pale, his eyes haunted. "It's weakened, but not destroyed," he said. "It will return if you let despair take root again." The villagers buried James in the churchyard, their grief mingled with fear. The Hollow Man's presence lingered like a dark cloud over Ravenwood, a reminder that some shadows can never truly be banished. As Caldwell left the village, he paused at the edge of the woods. For a moment, he thought he saw a shadow move. He tightened his grip on the lantern and whispered, "Not yet."